I called you over here today.
I was wondering myself. Thank you, Mike.
No problem, no
Okay.
problem. I can start you off if you want. I know what the question's going to be. The question's going to be, how did you feel about the Shazam movie? The one that came out last year?
Yeah.
What's your opinion? What do you think? Have you each been, tapped for the next one they're going to make? I mean, is there anything like that? So, take it and run.
Well, okay.
What do you think? I'm going to close the door.
I guess I'll start with the Shazam movie. We, back in 2012, I was down at San Diego Comic-Con with Warner Brothers. They were promoting the release of the DVD. And I met Michael Uslan at that time, who was, Michael's done all the Batman movies. So Michael had told me at that point, he was probably involved, maybe an executive producer of Shazam at that time, and he told me there'd probably be a cameo in it for me. I said, cool. Well, 8 years later, there was no cameo in it. But this is the beginning of the resurgence of Shazam, the release of the DVD. And now the movie, again, is one of the reasons we're both here, because of the resurgence. I saw the movie. It was different. It wasn't what I expected. It was a good movie. It was entertaining. It was cute. But for the die-hard Shazam TV fans, it wasn't what they expected. I met Zach Levi and Asher Angel, and so did he at Denver Pop Culture Con. Both very nice guys. They both did a good job. It just was different than the Shazam TV series. But it's got us both working again, two retired guys, so we're working again and enjoying it. As far as a cameo in the next one, I don't know. I've got friends that work at DC who have asked people at DC to put me and John in a movie, both cameos, and they haven't responded, so we don't know. Go ahead.
I haven't got much to add, other than I saw the movie with my wife, and we both enjoyed it. Is this on?
Yeah.
There's a red thing there. Is that, should I-
Yeah, actually, push that out, yes.
Oh,
There you go.
Sounds like his heartbeat.
yeah, we saw the movie and were quite entertained. It was a whole different slant than the series we did back in the '70s, but it was a very entertaining film. We enjoyed it. That's all I have to say.
So, we'll take questions and answers if you guys, you raise your hand, speak a little loud, because both of us, our hearing is not as great as it used to be. So, go ahead.
Well, back when this whole thing started, had you ever even imagined that you might still be known for it this far on?
I did not. No, I had issues after the Shazam series because I was still trying to be an actor. I had worked very steadily for about 8 years before Shazam. And after Shazam, I had trouble getting work because I was typecast. I would go out for interviews for psychopathic killers on certain shows. They said, we can't cast you as that, you're Billy Batson. So I tried for a few more years and finally gave it up, went into other jobs, different professions. I didn't expect this. And I'm happy because I love doing this. I love doing Comic-Cons and personal appearances and meeting people. And I like working again. I'm doing Archer episodes again, playing TV's Michael Gray from Shazam. Because Adam Reed, who created Archer, is a Shazam fan. So I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it.
Right. That gives me a reason to go look into Archer episodes now.
Yeah. I did 2 this season. I did 2 about 3 seasons ago. And I'm told I'm going to do a couple more maybe next season. Yeah.
Okay.
It's all because of Shazam.
Yeah, I'm amazed that, pleasantly so, that they're still we're still remembered after all the years. I haven't really worked as an actor since 1991 when we moved up to Northern California and at the foothills of the Sierras. We retired and just been enjoying my life, and all of a sudden Mike calls me in a couple of years ago and said, "Hey, you want to go down to do a Comic-Con?" Sure. So several Comic-Cons later, here we are. Enjoying every minute of it, I might add.
Good.
Yeah, the Shazam fans prefer to see both of us together at Comic-Con, so that's why we're having fun and we're doing them. I don't have to say Shazam anymore, he just appears.
John, do you still have the costume?
I do.
What?
Nice.
Really? No.
Yeah,
That's good.
Are you going to bring it to a con sometime?
probably not.
Really? Oh, it would be a wonderful thing at your table.
Yeah, but, yeah, I probably won't. It's stowed away in mothballs and.
Well, how was it that they allowed you to keep it?
They
I
just,
mean, how did that come up?
they just.
They didn't really
gave it to me.
care one
Yeah,
way or another?
yeah.
Wow.
Well, I should say when I packed it into my suitcase, they didn't say no, so.
Yay.
You're actually still looking for it.
Now the mystery's solved.
Yeah, you might have to burn that tape.
I know. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
John, what was it like doing the flying shots for Shazam? What kind of a process was that for you to go through?
Well, the first season that I worked on the show, which was the second season, they were still early in the season, they were still using like hanging me off wires and things like that, and strapping me onto boards in front of trucks, and then they came up with the blue
Screen?
yeah, blue screen method made it a lot easier. But wasn't those wires were really uncomfortable. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Do you guys ever see the actress that played Isis?
Joanna Cameron?
Yeah, I haven't seen her. I was living in Long Beach. She came over to my home one night and left a tape of a film that she had done, and she was like narrating. It was a Blue Angels film, and she was doing the narrating, and I haven't seen her since then.
You guys considered adding her to the group?
Well, I tried to contact her once. She was living in Northern California. Now she's in Hawaii somewhere. So I haven't reached out to her in a long time, but I did try to reach out to her many years ago in Northern California, and she didn't respond. So I don't know. But it would be fun having her. It would be fun having her with us. Yeah, Shazam Isis Hour. I mean, that'd be cool. Have her with us again. Yeah.
I don't think we'd get many people paying attention to us if she was with us, but.
That's probably true. Yes.
Talk a little bit about the transition between Jackson to John. Was there a lot of tension on the set? Was it, was it a strange time, I guess, for, just, changing out your main actor, basically? How was that for you? I mean, you were there for the whole thing.
I was.
How was that?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. Actually, it was strange. Jackson had done a stunt a few days prior, and he did a flying stunt where he landed, and they had corrugated boxes. He would land on these boxes. He got injured. So he went to the doctor. I didn't know that. I heard later on he went to the doctor. I know he got injured, and we hadn't heard anything more. So the next day of shooting, I think it was a Monday, Les Tremaine and I were on the set. We're waiting. Jackson didn't show up. We didn't know what had happened. We had no idea. We're looking at our watches and waiting and waiting and waiting. Nothing happened. Where's Jackson? We don't know. Nobody knew anything. All of a sudden, a car pulled up. Two executive producers, Lou Scheimer and Norm Prescott, were in the car with this guy. And they said, Michael and Les, this is John Davey. He's playing Captain Marvel now. So we went, what? We had no idea what had happened. We didn't know. Nice guy. We met him. Jack was a nice guy, too. But whatever happens, very political in the business too. You know, actors have nothing to say at the set. They're all about the producers, executive producers. So no matter what, we were told there's a new Captain Marvel.
Sure.
And here he was. So Jackson was cool. I worked with him for a year. He was in great shape. He did a good Captain Marvel. Now we have a new one. And John and I get along very well. I haven't talked to Jackson in a long time. I ran into him at a Hollywood show about 25, 30 years ago, whatever, something like that. And I said hello to him, did hello back, and that was the last time I saw him.
Very cool. Good insight.
Yeah. So we're just learning to meet a new guy, new Captain Marvel, and there he is.
Great job.
In my experience in that transition was, I was sitting at home in my apartment with my son, and he was 8 years old, and I was trying to figure out what to do with for the rest of the day to entertain him. And the phone rang. It was my agent, and he said they need you out in Topanga Canyon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Topanga Canyon location is for the Shazam show. They want you to play Captain Marvel. I mean, that was all I heard, and I was aware of the character of Captain Marvel, but I was not aware that there was a morning TV show of Captain Marvel called Shazam. So I kind of panicked because I wasn't sure exactly, you know, what that entailed. So I called, and I told my agent, please, let me call you back, and I'll let you know. And he said, well, you haven't got much time to think about it because they're waiting for you out there, you know. I said, okay, I'll call you back in just a minute. So I called a couple of my friends and that had kids, and they said, yeah, I've heard the show, yeah. So anyway, so my son's sitting or standing or something while all this is going on. I said, Tom, have you ever heard of Shazam, the Saturday morning TV show? He said, yeah. I said, you watch it? He said, yeah, watch it every Saturday. I said, well, they want me to play Captain Marvel. What do you think? He goes, I mean, the kid just practically came unglued, you know. So I called my agent and said, okay, give me the directions. How do I get out there? I thought if I could see that kind of glow on my kid's face, I was not going to pass up the chance.
Kind of made the decision for you.
And then I felt like, you know, Joe Schmo coming in for Tom Brady because I was within an hour within 2 hours after I got that call, I'm in wardrobe out in Topanga Canyon putting the costume on, and it was just surreal. It was just, but Mike and Les, they really took me in under their wing, and when they weren't terrorizing me, they were very encouraging and helpful.
Terrorizing?
Yeah.
Here's a story.
Well, I'll let Mike tell you the story. Some of the terrorist things they've done.
First, I'll tell you, Les and I were watching him do one of his scenes where he was running. I had said Shazam, turned into Captain Marvel, and he's running, and as he ran by Les and I, he went, geez, nobody told me it was going to be like this. He was sweating and running like a maniac around the set. So, he didn't know he was going to be working hard like that.
So I thought it was going to be, I thought this acting world was going to be Klieg lights and swimming pools and Cadillacs and limo, you know. I didn't know it was going to be running and running and running and running. And jumping off ladders and riding on boards over the trucks. It was a lot to digest.
Well, that was kind of what I was going to ask about too. After you got over the shock of getting the role and getting into the role, were there special things that you did to prepare for the physical side of it?
No.
Any special changes to your routine? Or?
No, I was what I was. I didn't get in shape. I mean, the first season I was a little hefty, let's say that. I wasn't quite as cut like Jackson was, but and to make matters worse, we shot a lot on location, and Filmation had a great catering truck. And that was really kind of working against my trying to get in good shape. They just had great stuff to eat, and I was piled my plate about as high as I could get it.
It's true, he had a good appetite. He's a great caterer, too.
He's running all the time.
Yeah, one incident I remember, I think it was Norm Prescott, one of the producers, was on location with us, and it was a hot day, and I took the top part of my costume off and just kind of let it dangle around my waist, and so I'd be cooler. And then I'm standing with this tray of food, and not in the best shape with my top off, you know. And I just happened to look over, and Norm Prescott was looking at me like, what? But it all worked out. I was more of a jolly Captain Marvel, you know. I wasn't a big muscle guy.
You mentioned Norm Prescott and Lou Scheimer. Did they come on set a lot? Did you see those guys much?
Yes, they did. Yeah. Norm was a nice guy, and Lou was over the top. Lou was just one of the greatest guys I've ever met in my life. Wonderful guy. They were pretty much on the set most of the time watching. Yeah, it was nice.
Cool.
Yeah, they were great man.
It's a very well-organized crew. We even had child psychologists on the set every single day to make sure the show was appropriate, the moral values were being held up. So it was quite an interesting show and a great crew. Some of the crew members actually were doing shows back in the 50s and 60s, like Lassie, F Troop and stuff. These guys were really professional, cameramen, all the boom operators, electricians and stuff. A lot of experience. They had a great crew.
Mike and I had to spend an hour a day with the child psychologist to keep us under control.
Speak for yourself. I was always in control.
Jackson was here last year, and he told a story about one of the scenes they shot. They had hung him from a crane and spun him around and did a couple of takes, and it messed up his inner ear. Did you ever experience any weird stunts like that, or?
No. The stunts I did were anybody could have done them. I mean, they just rigged it up, you know, and I kind of went along for the ride. But there wasn't anything really dangerous or anything that I did.
I remember a lot of dirt bike scenes. Was that actually you on the dirt bike, or did they have a stuntman on the dirt bike?
We had a dirt bike the first season, and a lot of the scenes I was riding it.
Nice.
A couple of scenes, it was too much. They had a stuntman on because when you sign up for a series, you have to go through a physical, make sure your insurance is covered, because if you're in trouble, if you get hurt, then the whole show shuts down.
Yeah.
And then one day, one of the reasons they took the bike away, because during lunch I took the bike and I was riding all over, we were shooting out in Malibu Canyon. I was riding all over having fun during lunch, and I was cruising along one of these roads, and two guys in choppers pulled up next to me, and one of them put his foot out and just kicked me right off the bike. And because it was green and hilly out there, I went down a hill, the bike went one way, I went the other way, head over hills. I didn't get hurt. And the producer said, and the director said, that's it, take the bike away. Can't do that again. So there was no more bike after that.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, they didn't like seeing me on a little Honda 125 and they run these big hogs. So we get a little punk, boom. I was gone. Had they known, I would have said Shazam and turned into John. Get the hell out. Yeah, be careful who you mess with, you don't know. I'm Billy Batson, you jerks.
This young woman has had her hand up for the last 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, thanks. Tell us about the scene.
That young woman is my wife.
About the scene when you were in the water with the shark.
Oh. We shot, the season I was in was the same year that Sharks, Jaws came out. And I've always been fascinated with, I grew up in the desert up in northern Nevada. I mean, there's no reason why I should have been afraid of sharks. But I've always been fascinated with sharks and deathly afraid of them. And in one of the episodes, they had me, they're towing me around like a water skier, only on like a board, a belly board. And in the Channel Islands up in the Ventura area. And in the LA Times, they'd had several articles that shark, great white shark sightings up in the Channel Island area. So I'm thinking, good Lord, I mean, here I am in this red suit, yellow boots, white cape. I look like a fishing lure out there, you know. And then I'd read about sharks and these great whites in particular, and I learned that they don't. It isn't like you see in a movie shoot where they just wave around with their fins. And they attack from the bottom. When they hit the victim, it takes them right out of the water. So I'm thinking, I'm bobbing around in the water between takes, and I'm thinking any minute, any second now, I'm just going to be flying up right in the middle of a shark's mouth, and I thought now they're going to have a great bit of, they're going to have the first bit of film on an actual fatal shark attack. I'm going to be the star of the show. So anyway, it all worked out fine. I bobbed around there for a while and finished the shot. And I lived. But it's the most. I think it's. If I had to pick out one of the most single moments of my life where I was really in fear of dying, it was then. My fear was really, pretty much unfounded, but it was real.
Michael didn't yell shark from the shore or anything?
Mike, what do you need? He always yells Shazam when he needs me, but who do I yell for?